An advisor for the Clinton campaign 2008 joins us now. Good to see you. What is Kamala Harris so scared of in talking to what would seemingly be a friendly White House press corps?
Well, thanks for having me, Leland. Nice to see you again. I wouldn't say that Vice President Harris is afraid. I think I heard her say just a couple of days ago, if Donald Trump has something to say, he should say it to her face. And I do just have to say that I think you nailed it on the head when you talked about Donald Trump and his intentions with going to the National Association of Black Journalists yesterday. He changed that conversation. Yeah. He comes across as being strong. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends and colleagues on the left fell for it hook, line, and sinker, as well as the media.
Well, thank you. We try to, they say blind squirrels get an acorn every once in a while, so thank you. But I come back to this. If Kamala Harris says, hey, if you want to say it to my face, Donald Trump, show up at a debate. By all accounts, they're going to debate in September. But I know there have been dozens of media organizations who have all put in requests for interviews with her. And she's a woman from a ticket, Biden-Harris, and a party that says the press are essential, and bashing the press is a threat to democracy. So why wouldn't she be giving interviews, you think?
I'm sure she will be giving interviews. I'm not in the middle of the Harris campaign, but I know they will be talking to the media as much as possible in the next 95 days.
Meanwhile,
this is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy.
Man, look, asleep.
And understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
Wow.
No.
No. He looks slow.
Hold on.
I'm tripping, bro.
Meanwhile,
this is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
Black woman.
Okay, that's why I agree with that. I agree with that. But is she African American? No. But is she African American? There's a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is trying to take anything away from her.
Let's go down into her lineage.
I think you're falling. I think you're falling into a trap of that. All she had to do was say, "I am black, but I'm not African American."
Where is this Don Lemon at?
I'm not falling into a trap. I'm not falling in. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not falling into a trap by that. When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica and all these other Caribbean islands. So she could indeed be African American mixed with other races. But she is
Jamaica's not America.
But she is a black woman. She was born here.
Come out of Jim Crow.
Okay, well let's go into Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
His father was Cuban. This is not about Ted Cruz. You're changing the subject.
But you know what? We cannot. It was hypocrisy. I'm not changing the subject.
Yes, you are.
She's a black woman. I don't know what you want.
Don Lemon just gave a masterclass on how to argue with a woman. But I think the point here, no one's taken away from the fact that Kamala Harris is obviously Jamaican. Yes, but Jamaicans are not Black Americans. They're Jamaican. They have their own culture. You know what I'm saying? So when she keeps coming and telling black people, I'm black like you, but you're not though. Yeah, you're not black. You grew up you grew up in Canada. Your mom's Indian. Your dad's Jamaican. They're both immigrants immigrants. You have no ties to black culture or slavery. You don't.
Her dad went to Harvard.
That's Stanford. Or did he go to Harvard?
I thought he went to Stanford.
He's a professor at Stanford.
But he went to Harvard.
Maybe I don't know. But I don't know, man. She's just.
Don't matter.
I think her only tie to blackness is the fact that she went to a HBCU, is in a black Divine Nine sorority, and that's great and all. But you don't have that. None of those things make you black, and you don't have to be black to do both of those things. So to me, again, she's not a Black American, a foundational Black American. So yeah, she's not black.
Is her being black the only way she can win this? Is that the only way?
Right now, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's the strongest part of her campaign right now. That's the whole identity of her
Indian
campaign.
American
because she's a black woman running for president. So when you try to build your campaign on identity politics, you can't be upset when criticism comes in. And a lot of people in the media are trying to say that criticism is racism, but the criticism is literally the truth. She's just not black, and it's all pandering and performance.
No, yeah. It's just when you look at her history and where she's come from, and then she tries to get on stage and act like she has a Southern black accent.
Facts.
And she talking about they not like us.
No, facts.
That's just crazy.
He doesn't walk it like he talk it. And
that's so crazy.
The Indian American woman, man.
I also think that I think that she just like her blackness is just like she like tries to portray it so much. Like she tries to prove she's black. Like Obama, he never did that. He was just I'm black and white. And
nobody questioned it.
Yeah, nobody questioned it. Like Stacey Abrams, black. Brandon Johnson,
did
black.
question it.
You know what I'm
Some people
saying?
did.
Well, they questioned it. They questioned.
They
his
said he wasn't even
legitimacy to
American.
America.
But a lot of black people wasn't questioning it. A lot of black people were questioning Kamala at this point.
I mean, but like Obama never
well,
he was
Obama's
never
the same situation.
No, it's not the same because he was bro. It's not because he never put on a concert. He never was like.
He didn't have Meg shaking that.
Yeah, he never.
I know. Okay,
he never put on a concert. He never was like.
He
was never like.
They're not like us.
I'm in these streets. They not like us. He never like had to portray his blackness. He just said, "This is who I am," and that's just what it was.
That's bad, bro. It's a BET ad. She called who? Taraji
P. Henson, bro.
At the BET Awards and was on the phone with her and was just like, "They not like us."
No.
I swear to God, you gotta.
I had to unfollow Quavo for. I unfollowed Quavo.
I think he wrote up script. You know, I don't have a problem with what he did because he went up there and spoke his opinion. Of course, do I agree? No.
Does he? Have you think Quavo done any research?
No, I don't think he's done any research, and I also don't think like. You can't say you're an advocate against gun violence when your music promotes gun violence. So I just, it's, you know what I'm saying?
And I know it's easy to get Meg Thee Stallion up there. She probably, all Kamala had to say is, I went to HBCU too.
That's
what
and Meg went to HBCU and she went to TSU.
She gave her that bread.
I'm telling you, bro. I think all her blackness is performative. Like
it's a shame that we even talking about it right now. Isn't he supposed to be going against Joe Biden? What happened to Joe?
They dropped out.
He dropped out out of incompetence.
Yeah,
incompetence.
The 25th Amendment. That's what they said.
They were going to invoke it, but he dropped out on his own. He dropped out willingly.
Why is she even in the race?
Because they have nobody to replace Joe Biden.
Well, they still haven't decided yet.
Well, I mean,
we still gotta wait in a couple of days, right? This weekend, right?
No, the DNC is
this weekend.
10th.
This is their last resort.
I thought it was this weekend.
Get the black girl in there. We need somebody black.
And she's not even black. Okay, Charlamagne went on CNN, guys. You know Charlamagne, he's a huge race hustler. Let's see what he has to say.
He asked her if she's black.
What would be her best argument if Donald Trump was black? How would she win?
They just use race baiting, bro.
Because it ain't gonna be no policy. It's gonna be based off policies.
I made that point and said, if they were both black, that's their. They're both black.
Badly. That's a good point. That is a good point.
It's a shame.
All right, let's see what Charlamagne has to say.
Tonight, I showed up. Those are the exact words that former President Donald Trump is using to defend his appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists convention yesterday, an appearance in which he questioned Harris's race.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
Of course, Harris is both and has been very clear about that. She spoke extensively about it, in fact, over the years. And to Charlamagne the God, host of the Breakfast Club radio show, she talked about it.
I'm black.
Yes.
And I'm proud of being black.
Absolutely.
And I was born black. I will die black. And I'm proud of being black. And I'm not going to make any excuses for anybody because they don't understand.
All right, Charlamagne the God's out front. He's also the author of a new book called Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks, an analysis of the moment in which we all live, this polarized world that we are living in. So Charlamagne, Trump's not backing away from the controversy. Today he went online, he shared a photo of Harris wearing a sari in a family photo, and he writes about it. Your warmth, friendship, and love of your Indian heritage are very much appreciated. Okay, so that's what he did today. Let me just ask it to you this way, though, Charlamagne. Does he deserve credit, as he says, for showing up at the Black Journalist event yesterday?
Yes.
Peace, Aaron. How are you, first and foremost? No, does he deserve credit? No, he doesn't deserve credit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a damn about any of this, and neither should you. Like, nobody in the media should care. Donald Trump doesn't have any new tricks. He focuses on identity. He focuses on race. He focuses on gender.
Do? What is the
I don't understand why.
Their main selling point is everything he just said.
Literally, and this campaign has been built on the fact that Kamala Harris is a woman and she's black and Indian. So when you call that into criticism, you put it under the microscope. The left tries to say, "Oh, you're racist. This is another new trick. This is a problem." Why are you backpedaling now?
This is not a new trick for Democrats.
You just built a campaign on it, and now when someone calls it into question and criticizes it, you want to backpedal.
That's insane, bro.
I mean, if you're gonna try to build a campaign on identity politics and not policy and not democracy because there was no democratic process for her to be selected, what's the problem when anybody calls that into question? I'm lost.
I can't believe Charlamagne got a book called that.
I can't believe
He's
he wrote a book.
He's contradicting himself. I mean, everything that the Democratic Party is about. For a long time, they've been targeting ignorant black people, if I'm being frank.
Well, ignorant people in general, or
Especially
people, they use the virtue signaling and they trump up things like race, identity, and gender. And when you criticize that, they label you to shut you up. It's a very obvious game they play.
Media should care. Donald Trump doesn't have any new tricks. He focuses on identity. He focuses on race. He focuses on gender. He makes white America think that the changing demographics of this country are a threat to their livelihood, and he makes them believe if we don't take things back to the way they were, probably 1950 something, then America as they know it will be ruined. Wow. It's just a distraction. Like Public Enemy had a album called Fear of a Black Planet. Trump tries to scare people with the fear of a black and brown America, and we have to stop falling for it. Like we just have to stop falling for it.
All right,
like,
so yeah. All right, so today though, you talk about
black people end up being racist. They end up becoming the very thing that they're fighting against.
I don't understand why everyone keeps saying Trump is like against the black and brown America. He's like a racist. I'm just lost at what
everyone who's saying that should go watch the
like,
Dr. Phil interview he did.
I just think
he's
that
for immigration.
I think that a lot of the arguments that they use are just a tired argument.
He's for immigration like everybody else with a logical brain. You just have to do it legally, just like us Americans can't go anywhere. We live in the best country in the entire world, arguably, right?
Right.
Yeah. We can't just go to Canada and just say, "Hey, we're citizens."
You can't.
I'm
gonna vote.
You can't.
We have to do it legally.
Exactly.
That's fair, right?
Yeah, no, that's
fair.
Hey, man, I agree.
Charlamagne
100% agree.
Might be on. I ain't gonna say on Van Jones level, but he getting there. He damn near might be on Don Lemon level.
I feel like he'll hit
bad, bro.
I feel like he'll start crying, bro.
I just don't understand how Trump doesn't get credit for going to the NABJ as well. Like, he showed up. He was on time. Kamala couldn't even make it. They were 30 minutes late, and on top of being 30 minutes late, as soon as you start, you don't introduce him. You don't greet him. You just start attacking him with BS questions rather than like this. This was a chance for them to really sit down and ask Trump real questions that actually matter, like substantial questions. Like you can ask him, why should we vote for you? What policies can you do to protect our interests? What will you do for us to make America a better place for us? This is a perfect time to ask questions like that.
They immediately went on the attack.
Exactly. They went on the attack with BS questions.
You know he expected that.
It was BS questions. I don't think he expected that at all, but I think the way he handled himself up there when everyone has a bias against him and an agenda against him based on rhetoric that the media promotes, an agenda that the media promotes, I mean, I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
He showed up.
I personally do.
For an interview, which is a Q&A to answer questions that anybody feel free to answer. Feel free to ask any question you want. He deserves credit for that. He showed up to have a conversation. That's how you get down to the bottom of things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He showed up. He showed up.
Also,
that's how you deal with stuff.
I'm also super lost at how like people found such a problem with him being there. This is an association for journalists.
How does she open up?
It's journalism.
Defending himself for showing up. Why does he need to defend himself for showing up?
Well, not even that. It's just like I'm just lost that
you don't belong
it's an
here.
association for black journalists, and a Republican comes and everyone's up in arms. Like, is black journalism exclusive to the Democrat Party?
Sounds pretty racist.
Like, are you not allowed to have open ideas and open discussion?
That's
is that not what
racist.
Journalism is supposed to promote?
Listen, I'm gonna just say this. When I seen a clip of people taking Trump allegedly taking the girl's water out of context. They said, I can't believe y'all would vote for this. Trump picked up like water across the
he twisted it and set it back down. Like, I'm sure he realized.
That out of context.
I'm sure he realized it wasn't his.
Disgusting.
I'm sure he realized it wasn't his.
They just childish.
They just said water. He did something wrong with water. Okay, bro.
You guys should create a compilation of CNN taking something out of context.
That would be a freaking 10-hour movie.
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
You tackled it on your show because it's out there. People are talking about it. One of your callers actually called in and said something about it that I wanted to play for everyone so you could explain sort of how this makes you think and feel. Here's the caller.
Man, to be honest, Kamala Harris, she already said that she wasn't black. It's all over everything. She done had interviews. She already said that she's not black. She identifies as an Indian. When she was running and she did all of that at California. Yes, she has.
No, she hasn't.
Yes, she has.
Listen, have you ever read her book?
No, I don't.
I hate Charlamagne, man.
In her book, she specifically talks about how her mom definitely instilled her Indian heritage in her, but also told her she was a black woman and raised her to be a proud black woman.
They have an interview. She has a verbal interview with a white woman.
Why is it so important?
And she says that she is not black.
Why is that so important?
Because her campaign is built on black people. Her campaign is built. I'm gonna say this so everyone understands why we keep bringing this up. I want even like the audience to understand there because everyone's like, oh, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Her campaign is built on the fact that she's a black woman.
Yeah.
She's not
she
black.
lied about it.
She's not black. Well,
she ran.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I'll say this. Because I had an argument with someone close to me about this. Ethnically, sure, she's black. She's Jamaican. There's black people in Jamaica. But when she says black, and when Americans hear her say black, we're thinking of black American, like descendant from slavery, all that stuff, like an FBA, a foundational black American. She's not that. Of course, you're black.
Some people said that don't matter.
I mean, when you're trying to use it and appeal to the black American voter, and you're trying to say, I'm black like you, and you're not black like us, you're raised an Indian,
we already did this
and you have
once,
no
right?
ties to black culture.
We voted for the black person just because they were black. Fuck the policies. We don't care about we did that once with Barack Obama. Why are we doing it again?
Because
why are we doing it again?
Everybody want to feel like a victim, and they believe that this country is racist, so they
people
feel like
we did that already. Like
people like Charlamagne.
Yeah,
it's
the internet.
Fault,
it's
the media's
I don't know, man.
Social media got exposed.
I personally do not identify with Kamala Harris as a black person.
Yeah, but
a black American that was born and raised here and descends from ancestors here.
I would have been cool with it, bro, if she just would have came out and said it. But you can't just say I'm Indian one day and then say you're black.
Well, I mean, obviously she's biracial, sure, but like I'm sure like there's one side of her that she identifies with more than another, and it's obviously like the Indian side. I think her only ties to being black and black American and black culture is the fact that, again, she went to an HBCU and is in a black sorority. But again, you don't have to be black to do those things, and those things don't make you black.
Yeah. Hey, boy, what?
He swear.
Lord have mercy.
He swear.
So what do you do about that?
What do? I tell everybody not to be distracted, and I would say the same thing to the vice president. All the vice president has to do is stay on message. All these conversations about what's black, who's black, forget all that. You know, how you gonna put money in people's pockets? How you gonna keep people safe? That's what both candidates need to be talking about over the next 95 days. We all know Kamala Harris is black, and we all know she's Indian. And we also know Donald Trump is a bigot, and we know he's divisive. I don't need the media running Donald Trump's greatest hits over and over for the next 95 days. Donald Trump, as of right now, has no real strategy against the vice president. So they're going to say she's a DEI hire. They're going to attempt to weaponize her not having kids. They're going to question her blackness. Ignore it all. Aaron, listen.
But Charlamagne, I understand, but you're talking about the media.
All of those are very valid criticisms. They're all very valid criticisms.
He talking like he ain't got no kids, bro.
I don't think he does have children.
He does. He got 4 daughters.
Does he really?
I was trying to go off that JD point, like he said yesterday. These people that don't have kids in America,
they don't care about what happens in the future because they have no stake in the future.
But he got 4 daughters. He should care. Like this is insane, Charlamagne.
I personally think all that stuff he's saying, don't be distracted by, are all very valid criticisms. Every single point. She's childless. She's not black.
Well, she do got 2 adopted kids.
I think they bring up race more than Trump does. I think Trump wants to talk politics.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
When they said, "What do you want to say?" in the interview he did at the National Black whatever it's called. The first thing he said, when they said, what is your message today? He talked policies. He said, let's get rid of the immigrants, the illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about...
They brought it up. So what do you say about the Kamala Harris?
He didn't come there to talk about that.
She was black. They baited him, bro. That's why it's sad, bro. They call us the sellouts, but honestly, they the sellouts. They reverse psychology and everything.
I'm just lost on how like everything that anybody calls into question and criticism, they're trying to call it distraction, they're trying to call it bigotry, they're trying to call it divisive. And to me, that's dismissive. Like, if it was bigoted and divisive, I'd say, okay, you have a point. But as someone who is like Charlamagne, and they're asking him because he's black on his opinion on how to view this, as black people, I just see it. I think all of those things are valid criticisms and we shouldn't ignore them.
I was going to say, I don't think all black people is falling for it nowadays, though. Because, like, more I see on the internet, it's like we kind of like...
It's the ones who don't do research.
It's kind of...
It's like they're separating. For somebody just because they're black.
You can say separate.
That's it.
70-30 now. I'll say 30%.
70-30.
70-30 on one side. What's
I'll say 40-60.
I'll say 70 people still
I'll say 40-60.
You said 70%?
70%
It's still
of
sleep?
black people still sleep.
I'd agree.
I'll say 40-60.
40-60?
40-60.
Ain't not bad. Not bad. We're getting there. I would say about 10 years ago, it was 80-20. Maybe 90-10.
And I'm not taking it personally, but I do think it's important, in part because of that
I'm
caller.
media too, though.
I know,
media
but
too.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you know that caller calls in, and you know whether it should or shouldn't. Sometimes it just is. If it gets into the ether and it starts affecting how people think and feel, then that becomes an actual problem. You know, how do you deal with that? You get calls like that. You actually have an opportunity to interact with someone to try to explain. Do you feel like people hear you?
Yes, I have no problem telling that young man he's bugging. Well, or you could say he's half right? Because yes, the vice president has said she's Indian, but she also says she's black because she's both. And that's why we need to ignore it all. The media should focus on whatever candidate is talking about the issues. Anything else is not worth the airtime. How many times is Donald Trump will run the same trick over and over and over, and we continue to fall for it and be distracted? Focus on the issues. Focus on the candidate who has an actual plan for America.
Then we need to focus on Trump based on that logic.
J.D. Vance is commenting on her. He's been trying to defend Trump's comments about her. And here's what he said to our Steve Contorno. I'm going to highlight one word here, but let me just play it.
Look, all he said is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent. She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of. I think it's totally reasonable for the president to call that out, and that's all he did.
Damn.
So he calls her a chameleon, and it's the exact same word, actually, Charlamagne.
He calls it out, and he moves on to the next thing. He's not dragging it like they are. He doesn't drag it. What he wants to talk about is the borders. He wants to talk about the economy, but they bring it up, and he's brief on it, and he moves on.
Yeah, I want to see what Charlamagne has to say about that.
So they can use their chess piece with the.
They're trying to avoid the fact that Kamala wants open borders. They're trying to.
I just. Also, basically, he said, let's focus on the policy and the issues. I've not once heard Kamala speak on policies and issues once. I haven't heard her speak on the plan for America once.
Exactly.
We looked at the current plan for America that she's part of the administration. She's the second head in charge, and it's a shit show. So I only think that's going to amplify times a million if she's the head honcho.
No, the fact that she's basically she's not talking politics. She's only trying to win the race
identity politics game.
And the fact that she's doing that is she's letting you know how stupid she thinks you are.
Also, and I think that, as I said before, her performative blackness is a play on how stupid she thinks you are. The concert, I was making collard greens in the tub.
I heard that.
We out here in these streets.
Bruh.
Girlfriend.
He doesn't walk it like he talking. All of that is performative to me. Like, it's just, it's disingenuous 100%. And it's offensive to me, because I'm like, if you're really black, you should just say you're black, and that should just be that. You don't have to prove your blackness.
Come say it in my face, Trump.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Longtime friend, used to describe J.D. Vance to me. Here's what she said.
What I've seen is a chameleon. Someone who is able to change their positions and their values depending on what will amass them political power and wealth. And I think that's really unfortunate because it reflects a lack of integrity.
That was a high school
I'll
senior.
just
I don't know
note,
what she
Charlamagne,
said. I
that
was
he used
focused
the
on
word
something else.
chameleon after his friend used
sorry.
it. I don't know whether that, whether he saw that. It's very possible he did. But you write about this. That words matter. You talk about get honest or die lying. That's your new book. And it's about honesty
He's
in
about
politics.
to die lying.
Right? So when people are using words like chameleon, that may be a word, but it gets at something that's quite deep, right? What is truth? And when is a person actually being genuine? How do you think about this, given where you sit every day, these calls that you get?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I have a chapter in my new book called The Language of Politics is Dead. And I talk about how tired we are of the way politicians talk to us and how everything is too safe and folks are too afraid to take chances. And I feel like the internet killed all that. Like social media in particular, people have gotten used to hearing ideas, and not just ideas, but news, all topics in just authentic ways. And two things that I love right now, my critique of the vice president was the person I've known since 2017, the person that, we used to see grilling people in Senate hearings. That individual had disappeared over the last few years. But over the last couple of months, whether it's been her, economic opportunity tour, or even after the way she stepped up after Biden's terrible debate performance, and of course now that, she's at the top of the ticket, I've seen that real person
we don't know yet.
show up. Like I've seen that person, really come to the forefront. And I think, as long as we see more of the real her over the next 95 days, she can probably win this thing. So I'm definitely not seeing a chameleon in Vice President Kamala Harris right now. I'm seeing the person that I know on air and off air.
All right. Well, Charlamagne the God, thank you.
What happened to DNC change it up and put a different candidate and fuck this me?
That would be awesome.
She's doing pretty. She sucks, but sad to say, I mean, some people falling for the shit, so she's doing pretty good.
I'm
I
upset
think
about that.
a lot of people are just rallying with Kamala because there's no other option. But based on the whole video we just saw, like Brock said, I think Charlamagne he has a bias. Obviously, he's seeing things from the perspective of he wants Kamala to win, and he's obviously on her side, so he's going to go with the media point. All criticisms of her are bigoted and racist and rooted in nasty intentions, and I think that all the stuff he says to ignore that's a distraction is stuff that you should actually look at. I also think that she is a chameleon, and I think that she's dodging the media because if she actually has to sit down and answer questions, I think she'll melt. I don't think
she melted at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, no,
when she didn't have a script to write. When Joe Biden was falling asleep. Man, this is a day or a shit show.
Yeah, nobody. I haven't seen a real interview with her.
Charlamagne, we gonna send your ass to war soon as if she wins,
he's too
you
old.
Front line, bro.
He's too old.
Nah, we send his ass over.
He's too old.
I think the biggest thing though, the biggest criticism they tried to say,
deal with that shit.
The biggest criticism that he said to ignore is the fact that she's childless. I think J.D. Vance's point on people who are childless are the most vocal about all this bad stuff because they don't care, bro. They don't have any stake in the future, and they don't have any children whose lives this will affect. But as a young person, and you're a young person who just had a child, I mean, we can really see what this gonna do for the future.
For real.
So, I mean, it's really on our generation to step up and really be vocal about this.
Men and women bathroom. Charlamagne, you got 4 daughters, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
He don't care, bro.
You selling your daughter's future. You selling your position to illegal immigration to be a virtue signaler, to be progressive.
He don't care. He gonna get the money and send his kids to private school.
You're a fool.
he don't care.
Like, this is what I'm talking. This is why I said these guys lead us into a burning building.
Yeah,
and I'm sick of it.
We gonna try to get black people out of it though one day at a time.
I don't even want just black people. I just want people
everybody,
in
but
general.
we gotta wake black people.
Well, let's get America.
Black people, of course.
We gotta wake.
Not just black people.
Yeah. A lot of America is asleep because there's a lot of people that believe this shit.
I think once Trump wins, he's going to bring America closer together.
Not with this media that's very obviously rooted against.
I feel like that's all Kamala has though is the media, bro. Like that's
really
like where she's gonna get her votes from. It's from the
they're
media.
donating to her campaign. They got money on the line.
Like Ben Carson said, we're gonna see how powerful the media is this cycle.
Oh, you damn right.